All right, and we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today I'm going to talk about why Web 3.0 is such a game changer. Because people ask me all the time, hey, what exactly is Web 3.0? How can we identify it? Like, what can you actually do with it? And so I'm going to talk about in this video and show you a real world use case that came out in the news. They were talking about this, and I saw it. I wanted to bring it to you on this live stream, explain it in depth, because I think this is really important to understand so that, all the dots can connect when you're trying to think about this space, understand it, and where it's headed. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to answer some of your questions in this video from the live chat replay. We're going to look at some of the crypto markets, look at some other news updates that have happened in the space since our live stream yesterday. Again, we do these Monday through Friday on this channel. Just turn on notifications, subscribe. You'll find out about those whenever we go live. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video does not be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers in the comment section below. Just ignore them. Like, I'm never going to give you my phone number on YouTube or ask you to invest with me. All right, so let me just fix something on my computer really quickly. Looks like my connection is kind of dropping a little bit. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Can y'all hear me and see me okay? Is my connection better? Awesome. Everybody good? Awesome. Cool. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's talk about Web 3.0. And if my connection freezes anymore, just let me know down in the comment section below, and we'll get that taken care of. It's a bit glitchy. Hold on a second. I'm seeing red numbers in my streaming software here. Just want to make sure we're all good before we keep going. Okay. All right. I think we're good now. So, sorry for the technical hiccup here. Let's continue on. So, Web 3.0. A lot of people are always, trying to ask, like, hey, what exactly is Web 3.0? Of course, we have this migration, or I should say expansion. I've been trying to use that term because I think it's better, of the internet in multiple phases. So, from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. So, Web 1.0, you have basically, static websites where you're essentially just, consuming information that's displayed on the page. Not much more sophisticated than a magazine or a newspaper. You got email as well, right? You can send messages back and forth, maybe share hyperlinks. That's where HTML was starting to become a thing. Where you could actually link between websites. That was a big deal. Okay, to Web 2.0, where you have more interactive websites. You have mobile experiences, you have big social networks, web applications, or in the Web 3.0, where we actually have blockchains, okay? And we have decentralized web that changes the business model of the internet. So said a few different ways, I've heard some people say that Web 1.0 is, read, Web 2.0 is read, write, and then Web 3.0 is read, write, and own, okay? So the internet of value, we can actually own things on the internet. And so what I was saying a second ago is, basically, Web 3.0 is reinventing the business model of the internet and changing it to where we don't have just people who create the things, own it, and then we have these users who use it that are, basically being shown ads and, exchange for information. Maybe the people who own the applications are selling the information behind the scenes or, charging for their users to display ads. That's kind of the business model of Web 2.0 right now. Basically, take Facebook, for example. Facebook's free for you to use, but you essentially are the product of Facebook. Your information is being sold to advertisers. You're seeing ads all the time on those platforms, okay? It's basically way more extractive than value creation for the users themselves. I mean, Facebook is a valuable product in itself. It has to pay the bills somehow. But that's the business model of Web 2.0. So Web 3.0 changes this because we can actually have things where users are owning the things that they're created. And this is only made possible by blockchain technology. Okay. And I want to talk about an example of this today because I know it can sound abstract unless you say, hey, Show me an example. I want to see real proof of this, so that it's not just hype, that it's not just, this cool, novel sounding idea. Like, how are people actually doing this? Well, there's lots of ways, but one way in particular that I saw come out in the news the past couple of days I want to bring up is what's actually been happening with LinksDAO. So if you haven't seen that, I'm going to talk about it here in a second. So decentralized autonomous organizations are a part of Web 3.0. So what is that? So a DAO, or a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, is basically a collective group of people who coordinate together for some common goal on the blockchain powered by smart contracts. And the most common use case for DAO is basically to just hold cryptocurrency, hold money, okay, and then issue tokens to people who are members of the DAO, and they can decide on how that money is spent, okay? So, and then that's basically governance. You can govern how these funds are spent. This has lots of applications for, investment capital, all that type of stuff. But one way is for Web 3.0, so this community ownership that I'm talking about. And this can actually apply to ownership of real world assets, so physical assets, and combining that with, Web 3.0 to where you can have this community ownership, community benefit that I'm talking about. So we've seen some experiments of this already over the past several months, like the Constitution DAO. You might have heard of that, where people were trying to create a DAO to pull funds together to buy the Constitution. I believe it was at Sotheby's auction house. I can't remember 100% off the top of my head. I think that was right. You can fact check me on that one if you want to. But here we're actually seeing this with LinksDAO to try to pull funds to buy an actual golf course. Okay. So there are a lot of people who will look at this and say, hey, that's kind of silly off the top of their head. But actually, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye here. And this actually illustrates this idea of Web 3.0 pretty well, even to the next level, what you can do with it. So let's take a look at this. All right. So you basically have a golf course. Okay. And so who's going to buy a golf course in many cases? Well, maybe somebody who wants, I don't know, maybe there's a collective who's going to do it. Maybe it's an individual LLC, maybe a sole proprietor of some kind who wants to buy this to create a business, okay? And then maybe profit off that business, okay? So, but what if you could flip this idea up? But that's still very kind of Web 2.0 mindset, where it's just somebody who's buying it and then they're just renting it out other people to use. And, right. So what if you could flip the idea upside down on its head to where you could have a bunch of people that are like, hey, we want to create a community of golfers, all right? And we want to have our own golf course that is community owned, all right? Where we actually have decisions made about it by people who have skin in the game, who want to use it, who want membership in this thing. And we can pool our money together to buy this big thing that's mostly out of reach for most people, but together is a key word here, together, community, we can do this, all right? And we can actually, create this. We can decide how we want it to run. We can, issue the membership on the blockchain. We actually, the NFTs that we have, that's basically how this DAO is working. The NFTs that we sell to raise the funds for this can be part of that membership, okay? Those NFTs can become more valuable over time. Your actual membership is, so there's this financial incentive for you to get in and do this because, your membership might be transferable, all that type of stuff, okay? And it's completely changed this. So, it's exactly that. So like, you have something where, let me see this on my screen here, this old paradigm, so the old way, and then a new way, where you have something that's owned before by a central entity, all right, and then you have all the people who use it, all right, and then all the people who use it are just paying into this thing, and then all that's just going back to this person. Now, I'm not saying it's bad in all cases, right? Like, it might be hard to front the investment capital to do something. I'm not throwing all of Web 2.0 under the bus. I'm not throwing anybody who has sole ownership and a centralized authority over anything under the bus. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying new possibilities are created by, a collective, all right, who owns something, all right, and then reap the benefits the financial benefits of owning that thing, because there could be outside revenue coming into it. The NFT memberships could accrue value. And then they get to actually benefit and enjoy the thing that they own and govern it how they want it to be governed, rather than how the person who owns it wants it to be governed to maximize the amount of profit that they can make off of these people. Okay, so again, I'm not saying even that is bad in of itself, because you can still do that in a way that is good, right? But it just leads to a certain set of problems. Now, also, this will very likely lead to a certain set of problems in some cases, and maybe even many cases. And some things that we try with DAOs aren't going to work. Just like everything we try in Web 3.0 isn't going to work, but some things will have sticky, lasting impact. Okay, and this could be a pretty interesting example of that. So, that's an interesting example of what you could do with Web 3.0. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's lots more that you could do beyond this, but people ask me all the time, hey, what's an example? What's an example? And DAOs are an example of this, because you need Web 3.0 to really make this possible. Could you raise money to buy a golf course some other way? Of course you could, but can you really do it where you could crowdsource it with people across the globe to do it quickly and efficiently with crypto funds, where your ownership is on the blockchain, it's transparent, it's transferable, that membership can accrue value? It's a different thing. Okay. Okay, so hope y'all can still see my connection okay. My live streaming software says the throughput is fine, but every time I look at my YouTube monitor over here, it's like kind of frozen up. Somebody's talking about blockchain-based games. Yes, there's a lot of blockchain-based games can be examples of this, where you could even have community ownership over the thing, where the community benefits from more people using the thing and also get to, participate in the financial upside of that thing as well. Somebody says, yes, connection is jumping. Well, hopefully it can resolve soon. I'm not sure why it's deciding to have some problems today. Okay. All right. So, let's look at a couple other things here. One really quick piece of housekeeping is, people ask me a lot about, what's the best way to get started in blockchain? How do you go from knowing nothing to becoming, a real world blockchain developer to accomplish whatever goal you want to, which is land a job, become a freelancer, build your own project, bots, whatever. Okay, so I'm actually releasing my updated video on how to become a blockchain developer in 2022 today. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. You'll find out about that whenever it goes live. Should be going live at 2 p.m. Central Time today. So whatever time that is in your time zone. That's about 5 hours from now, I want to say 4 or 5 hours from now. So definitely check that out. I answer lots of frequently asked questions inside of there, like, should you learn blockchain first? What programming languages should you learn? How long does it take? What's the step-by-step plan to learn the coding skills? What's the step-by-step plan to accomplish your goal, get a job, become a freelancer, build your own project, whatever it is? State of blockchain 2022, definitely check that video out, because a lot has changed. I released a video like that last year for 2021, and I've updated it for this year. And now's a great time to start, because the new year, lots of people are, kind of getting excited about new possibilities. This is a great time to get in this industry, in my opinion. Regardless of what's happening with the crypto markets, there's a huge opportunity to build this technology. That's what I'm personally most excited about. I think that's what honestly fuels the crypto demand long term. And that's a huge opportunity for people who want to acquire the right technical skills to build something really interesting in this industry. Okay, so let's look at some other things that I saw come across my desk yesterday, or since our last stream yesterday. So we do see Aave launching permissioned DeFi platform Aave Arc Fireblocks to become the first whitelister. So I know permissioned DeFi is a pretty interesting term, but let's take a look at this. So Aave has launched its first permission DeFi platform for institutions. Basically, it's a permission version of the popular Aave lending platform. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Aave, basically it's a money markets lending platform. You can deposit cryptocurrency inside of it, and it earn passive income because it's issuing loans on the other side. It works a lot like your bank does. So you could take a stable coin, for example, deposit it inside of there and earn a passive yield on that. And then somebody on the other side could take out a loan. They, of course, have to collateralize cryptocurrency to do that. It's an over-collateralized loan. But they can borrow funds on the other side. And some people say all the time, like, hey, why would you ever do an over-collateralized loan? Well, there's lots of reasons. You might do it for some other DeFi use case. You might do it for trading. Maybe you're trying to do a short. Maybe you're trying to borrow against your assets so that you don't trigger a sell event for tax purposes, whatever it is. There's lots of reasons why you might want to do it. So Aave is a pretty big player in the space, and this is a step forward for a growing need that they see. Right now, like I said, a lot of people think that permission DeFi is, why would you even do that in the first place? But I think the clue here is that we're saying this is institutions, all right, institutions that want to take part, okay? And I think a lot of the pressure here is from regulation, because I think at the end of the day, people don't like the idea of an open DeFi, like a lot of regulators don't like the idea of an open DeFi where you have no idea who your, potential customers are. Okay, so on the NFT front as well, we have, let me just kill some of these pages. I think some of this might be. Part of my connection issue here. So we have more news on the NFT front with OpenSea, raising $300 million at a $13 billion valuation with backing from two major firms here. So that's a pretty big deal. We talk about OpenSea a lot and why this is huge for the NFT space. OpenSea is the primary NFT marketplace. If you're just new to the space and you're not totally sure what that is, it's kind of crazy because I remember when OpenSea came out, I think it was like 2018 maybe, 2019, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember seeing it when it first came out. Actually, it may have been into 2017. Somebody can go fact check me on all that. It's been a while. I got into crypto in 2017. I remember seeing it when it was very, very early in its infancy. So anyways, they have raised, it's crazy how much they've grown. And why this is such a big deal is it shows the demand for NFTs and what a phenomenon they have become. The other thing is we talk about more people rushing into the NFT space to create marketplaces because they've had a pretty significant, they have a significant amount of this market share. We're talking Coinbase wanted to launch their NFT platform to create a place to buy and sell NFTs. They talk about how it could be bigger than their crypto business potentially. Okay. We've seen lots of other people want to try to capture some of this market share because it's like, even if you can, even if you can get a tiny slice of this, right? It's a tiny slice of a $13 billion valuation. That's a pretty big upside potential. And the crazy thing about OpenSea is you can see all the activity on chain. You see exactly what the revenue is. I mean, that's one of the game changers of blockchain technology. There's a lot of confusion about this because even if you can't create something that's completely decentralized, censorship resistant, all that type of stuff, you can at least have this added benefit of transparency. And that transparency is a huge efficiency benefit for many business use cases, but also has this benefit of like just seeing what the earnings are. It's easy to audit. You know, if you have a publicly traded company, you got to wait for quarterly earnings reports. Well, here you can get the reports in real time. You can see exactly what the revenue is doing. Okay, so speaking of censorship resistance in DeFi, or transparency, all type of stuff, we did see this story come out yesterday about Tether freezing over $1 million worth of USDT belonging to a single address. Okay. So Tether blacklisted an Ethereum address last week. It had over $1 million in it. Tether spokesperson told that the block, Tether spokesperson told the block that Tether regularly worked with regulators to freeze addresses. Okay. So this is something that you have to understand is, you know, when you have cryptocurrencies like this that are running on a blockchain with smart contracts, okay, it's not just like anybody who creates the smart contract has control over the thing. Like if they code the ability to, you know, freeze funds or manipulate it, like they can do that type of stuff. So like if you have a basic cryptocurrency in a blockchain like Ether, for example, or like Bitcoin, you can't really do that. And maybe exchange might be able to freeze your funds if you deposit it on the exchange, but it's like once you have control over that, they can't be really manipulated like that. But this is an example of Tether actually freezing funds. So I don't know all the details behind this about what exactly went on here. Okay, I can put a link to this in the live chat replay if you want to see that. But this is something I want to bring up so that you all have a good understanding of this. So let's see here. Here's a comment from Jay. So he's a 13-year-old kid, learned making smart contracts and ERC20 tokens from your course, and nobody's going to believe me that he earned $30,000 from a project. So thanks to you. Awesome work, Jay. So let's actually do a quick check on the crypto markets here. I don't know why my lag is so bad today, everybody. Okay, let me just see if I can fix this here. So I don't know why my computer is deciding to just not do what it was supposed to today. Everything's kind of slow, lagging. I tried opening my system processes to see what's going on, but I can't figure out why it's so sluggish. So I'm gonna do a restart after this live stream. Hopefully I have this fixed for you by tomorrow. So anyways, the crypto markets, you know, let me just see here. Hold on. I don't want to try to click through to each of these individual cryptos right now because, like I said, my computer's, I don't know what it's doing. It's really slow. But I don't really have the ability to pull all the charts right now. But basically, I mean, I think things are, slightly bearish in the short term, slightly range bound even if we do see some kind of recovery in the short term. I think things are just a little bit boring for the time being. I don't see any reason to be significantly bearish. I think the long-term thesis is intact. I think we are still having significant adoption of this technology. I don't see any reason to be doom and gloom about major quality projects like I talk about a lot on this channel. So not much to say beyond that. Not any financial advice, as always. So let's see here. It's got a couple questions in the chat here. So somebody says, have I seen the crazy gas prices on Polygon? Sunflower farmers game is flooding the network with traffic. So I hope this isn't like a covert advertisement. So if it's true, I haven't seen it. I haven't been working on Polygon today. Oh, so a game basically got on. Okay, so I'll talk about this in tomorrow's live stream. Thanks for the heads up. So I see somebody in the chat talking about CryptoKitties did this with Ethereum back in 2017, 2018. Yeah, I remember that. So basically, that is one thing to think about is a lot of different environments that have lower fees that won't necessarily always have lower fees for forever. And that's exactly why we're moving towards layer 2 scaling solutions on Ethereum, is to basically have an environment where you can, do this with less fees in a scalable way. All right, everybody, I'm going to go and wrap up for today. My computer is just deciding to call it quits on me. I'm not really sure why. But as always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There really some videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast and have this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master's shortcut entirely, I actually become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.